Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at problem solving from maybe a slightly different angle.
Yeah, we're using this kid's story you sent over, Blossom Island.
That's the one. It follows these siblings, Lulu and Leo, and their big challenge.
Just this magical bloom bubble around
Yeah,
their island. It's fading.
exactly. So their mission, the core of the story, is to fix it.
And to do that, they need to find the three petals of power.
Right. Which the story names as the petal of
The
kindness
petal of curiosity.
and the petal of teamwork. Simple concepts, but, powerful.
Definitely. It's a simple setup, but it gives us a really neat framework for thinking about tackling obstacles, actually.
Absolutely. And the setting itself is just so imaginative. The story talks about glowing flowers, trees that sing.
Even giant butterflies wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, it's whimsical, right? But these magical touches kind of underscore the need to approach problems with, like, wonder, open-mindedness.
Just like Lulu and Leo have to on this floating island.
But what's interesting is how it starts. The problem appears, and what do?
Huh, yeah. They split up. Classic move.
Right, thinking they'll find the answer faster if they work alone.
And that reflects, I think, a really common first reaction we have to problems sometimes. Just try and muscle through it individually.
And well, no surprise, it doesn't go smoothly. Their solo attempts lead to some pretty funny but tough spots.
hmm The story mentions, like, a maze made of ticklish vines.
Oh, yeah. And that giggling coconut choir.
Exactly. It kind of makes you think, how often do we get stuck in our own ticklish vines because we're not looking for help or another perspective?
Totally. These obstacles really show the limits of just going it alone. A siloed approach, you could say.
It's only when they finally decide, okay, let's pool our efforts, that things start to shift.
Which speaks right to that petal of teamwork, doesn't it? Bringing different skills, different ways of seeing things together.
Yeah. But it wasn't just teamwork in isolation.
No, you're right. The story points out they got past hurdles by asking questions and helping the grumpy snapdragons smile.
Which brings in the other two petals, right? Curiosity, asking questions. Kindness, helping the grumpy snapdragons.
It makes you wonder, how often does just asking why something is the way it is or being a bit kinder in a situation unlock a path forward?
Exactly. Curiosity helps you dig deeper, understand the real problem, and kindness. Well, that smooths the way for collaboration. It helps you deal with the difficult parts or maybe the difficult people involved.
For grumpy snapdragons in our own lives, yeah.
So as Lulu and Leo start using these qualities more,
Kindness, curiosity, working together.
the magic petals start showing up, which leads them to restoring the bloom bubble.
It's a really neat narrative trick. It shows that the solutions often appear when we change how we approach the challenge.
And that core message from the story, kindness, curiosity, and teamwork keep everything blooming. It sounds simple, maybe a bit childish.
Maybe, but it really resonates, doesn't it?
It does. It suggests these aren't just, nice to haves. They're fundamental for keeping things in balance, for overcoming problems.
Whether you're on a magical island or just dealing with everyday stuff.
Exactly.
So maybe something for you listening to think about. Those fading bloom bubbles in your own life, those tricky problems that stick around. Could looking at them with a bit more curiosity, maybe injecting some kindness and focusing on teamwork, could that make a difference?
It might sound like a simple takeaway from a children's story.
But sometimes those simple reminders are the most powerful, right? Something to mull over.